Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Trip Trap Talk Show. Today, we talk with a very close and old friend of the show, Malachi. We discuss some of the moves he's making with recent performances with Ali Shaheed Muhammad and his collective, the Space Cadets, the local Boston music scene and how he's been acclimating and appreciating. We get deep into the concepts and meanings behind his new upcoming album, HTS. And as a bonus, we also get tips on how he warms up before shows with some of the exercises he learned from acting school at dear old Emerson. And we discuss some of the sacrifices he had to make to really focus on both music and acting in his life. Also, stick around for some of the surreal art he gets into on the daily and the special gift we at TTT have to offer the GOAT, Malachi Elijah. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trip Trap Talk Show. This week we have a very special guest, Malachi Elijah.
Hey,
how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. My day's been getting a bit better.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, started off a bit slow.
How'd it start off slow?
He done fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up a little bit. My beautiful girlfriend Natalie Lowe. Hey Nat.
Shout out.
She got me something very thoughtful, which is a Christmas gift.
Aw.
And it just like dropped out of my lap. I think as I was getting out of it, it lifted and onto the floor at like Penn Station.
Oh, it was like something fragile?
No, it was like a scarf, because I'm going to California, so we had to say like, oh, you wanna, I want something that like I can just like remember her by. You know, I'm not gonna be gone for like ever, but it was just like a scarf, and there were like these bells that she had got, like a string of bells, and she has like the same kind in her room, and it was just like wrapped in the scarf, and like I think it's just
so
like
sentimental.
Yeah, it was, right. It's like very,
And
very
then it
sentimental.
fell on the dirty subway ground.
Right.
Shame.
Yeah, total shame.
But you're
shame.
gonna
it's
make it
all
up
good,
to
though.
her, right?
I will definitely make it up to you. Yes.
You're probably gonna be mad hearing this. Like, what? You dropped my scarf?
No,
Fuck
she already
you,
knows
boy.
though. She already knows. So yeah, but it's all good though. Life moves on,
Feel
and
that.
we still have our love.
But
So,
Mel,
yeah.
let's get into your career.
What have
Your
you
career?
been
What do you
up to?
Who are you? What do you do? Where are you going? What projects do you have in store?
It's a list of questions,
lot.
right?
I
off the-
mean,
Yeah, take
off
it
the
one at a
bat.
time, man.
Answer all of them right now within 1 minute,
All right,
or else you
so
lose.
real fast, because I was doing 1 minute.
No.
Nah, so I am Malachi Elijah, and who am I? Wow, I'm just 23 years old, an artist, a student. Y'all know me from like
Well,
years past.
we know you.
Oh,
We
okay,
all
yeah,
know
of
you,
course,
but like
of
our
course.
audience,
Yeah.
our latest video, we got like 200 likes, so we gotta like let these 200 people know.
Hell
Plus,
yeah.
who are you?
Hell yeah. So, yeah, I'm Malachi Elijah. I am a musician, artist. I am 1/5 of the group called the Space Cadets. And I'm a student. I love movies and beaches. And
Now it just sounds like a dating profile.
I'm a musician in a great group and called the Space Cadets, and
Yeah.
also for myself.
You guys just did a pretty big performance, right?
We did, yeah. We just we were fortunate enough to open up for Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and
If
he's
you
with
don't
a
know.
band. Yeah, if you don't know, he's with a band right now called the Midnight Hour. But obviously, previous to that, he was he was with Tribe Called Quest. So just like a huge like monument, at least for me, and like obviously the other people in my group too, because we're all like musically capable. I guess that doesn't really sound right, but we all like we knew the importance of it, and he's such a pillar, I feel like, of hip hop, and like not even of like the side of hip hop that's lyricism, because he never really rapped, but just of like production and instrumentation. And then he's with the Midnight Hour, which also has Adrian Young, who's an incredible composer, and they also had with them a vocalist called Loren, who is incredible, and just a full like amazing band of people. You know, everything from like strings to horns,
like
guitar,
a whole orchestra.
yeah, like well a whole band, like just
Okay,
a whole
okay.
band. And yeah, so we opened up for them. I think like a week before. I was like right in the middle of finals. But like a week before, I got home and they asked us, because usually we'll set it up unless we like, because we did a full band for our headline show at the Middle East on September 7th, which we sold out, by the way. But yeah,
That's crazy.
it was dope. That was dope too. But yeah, so they asked us to have a full band, and so we brought one of our band members in Space Cadets, Elliot G. He also is with a band called Showcase, and so two of his band members, who are our good friends, they came up and helped us out and played guitar. And then we had two people from Berkeley, one was on keys and the other was on bass. So we got everything like together, within a matter of like we had booked the show, I guess, maybe like a month or so out, but had gotten all the pieces together, like in a good amount of time. So yeah, I'm kind of like rambling, but
No, this isn't rambling.
word.
Like, this is all good information. I'm wondering, how does an opportunity like that get in your view? Like, how did you even stumble upon this? Because that's a pretty big deal, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, bro, like, it's unreal. Like, I mean, like, y'all have, like, we've known each other for like a couple of years now, and for the people that are watching this or that will watch this, it's really just we've all come such a long way, like the three of you guys included, and me and myself, like just everyone. I feel like at this age, you have to like really progress in what you want to do. So for us, it's just like it came about from like hard work. It came about from like, it came about from like the hard work, but also like the little things. I think too, like just while we've been in Boston, we've had like so many opportunities, like great opportunities of just like performing, but they've all come from smaller events. So like Elliot and I like 2 summers ago, we'd go to like open mics all summer, and it was like the first summer that I was living in Boston by myself, and I was like I was a sophomore going into my junior year, and like before like we had gotten on the track of like open mics, Yaski and I, who's also with the Space Cadets, we would perform a lot of shows at school, and like just getting our names spread out like around school, and then that was like when we were freshmen, like sophomores, and that would like just continue to progress from like doing house shows to then the open mics that I would do.
So just always getting your name out there.
Just like
no matter
literally like taking any chance of like performing. Like I would take any chance that summer to perform, like any open mic I could find. I was out there like performing songs from A Day in Spring, performing songs, just like new music, and that, I think, just like on a personal level, that helped me because I was able to just become more comfortable in like any setting that I perform in. But I think it also allowed for us to just like grow a good base of like fans and like people that that are familiar with us, to then going, I guess, into like when I was a junior and like senior, and I'm in my senior year now, but like just continuing to like perform at like actual venues. So performing at the Sonia for Ali Shaheed in like the midnight hour, that was really a product, one, of us performing at the Middle East in this past September and selling that out. Like constantly performing at this venue as an opener for other acts and helping these acts like sell out the venue, and just like bringing like great energy and just like caring about the music that we're making, like being very, I feel like, selective. Also, just about like the things that we decide to perform, always trying to morph your sound to like the crowd. So like a lot of times, we'll do our set lists maybe like 15 to like maybe even 10 minutes before set, just to like really get to know the space as much as we can, and like the people in it, to see what they bounce with. So yeah, so like that, but yeah, that was just like that was a great show. It was a great show, and Yeah, like as I said, we played with a full band, so it was cool to hear a lot of the songs that had just been like produced, to then be transposed into, you know, its instrumentation, and, you know, just so much credit to like the band obviously, and like Soul Case, Jeremy and Mike, who are the two on the guitar, because a lot of like the songs that we've done, you know, they've added, you know, their parts onto it production wise, you know what I mean? So like a lot of things from like my album and like songs that we've worked on in the past, you'll hear their guitar, and you'll hear their parts, and like you'll have Elliot playing live drums, and then just our two friends from Berkeley who just really came through and like, you know, did so well. And it was just like such a great night. It was really fun.
It sounds like the progression you guys are making is like crazy. Even like from the beginning, you guys were always on the grind.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, describe the Boston music scene to me, because it seems like there's a lot of opportunities, but before you even said, you got to be very selective with what you're actually picking. So like, are there a lot of like sometimes dive shows, or just like some scenes that you try not to associate with? Like, describe it to me.
No. So I mean, when I say like, I guess being selective, I don't mean like selective on, I guess, the opportunities, but more just like really taking the time and energy to think about like the songs we want to do, regarding like each set. And like sometimes, you know, we'll do like the same set, same exact order, like if we have 2 shows in a weekend, which has happened plenty of times. But the Boston music scene is it's I think it's like in bloom right now, really. I think you have a lot of great talent from Boston that doesn't, I feel like get a lot of recognition. I can't really stamp Boston because I'm not like from there. Definitely a DMV born and raised, but
you've made your name there though.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
You've made your name there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we definitely have, like, just from, you know, the fact of 3 of us, myself, Yaski, and Elliot G, all going to the same school for a bit of time, and then Elliot had graduated 2 years before Tyler and I are going to, but us being up there and having Keo and Rico coming up for shows, like any big show that we'd have, any chance that we'd get, we'd have them come up, and so that really laid the foundation, because you would either see us as a whole, or, you know, I'd be out there like performing, grinding, getting my name out there to, like, for them people to connect back to the group, or like Yaski be doing the same thing, Elliot as well. So I feel like we've been fortunate to have our foot in the door of, like, I guess, the Boston music scene through performing at like house shows and like performing at our school as well. But then, you know, also being fortunate to then beginning to book like actual venue shows that have just come like easily, like I said, because we did like the groundwork for it, and we, like, you know, really started from a position where we wanted it to just keep growing and to not get stagnant at any point.
Right.
But yeah, the Boston music, it's funny because, like, you know, even saying that now, like, I wouldn't even say that I'm a part of, I mean, I guess we are a part of a Boston music scene, but, you know, you have really, like, real people that are, like, born and bred from Boston that are really stamping the city, you know, like Cousin Stiz, who's huge,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean, like bro, like, when I got to Boston when I was a freshman, and I heard Suffolk County, that shit, like, it just, like, completely put me onto Boston, like, in general, but it just put me onto, like, the type of artists that, you know, that can be produced from the city, you know what I mean? Because I feel like you have, like, any city you go to, especially, like, big ones like New York or LA, Chicago,
own,
you know,
different sound,
and you can hear it from the artists, you know what I mean? Obviously, because they're born and bred of, you know, their environment. And so people like Cousin Stiz, Michael Christmas, Vintage Lee, you know, people that you can hear their background in their music. You can hear, like, the Boston, you know, their Boston come up, their Boston upbringing, like, in their music. But it's not tied down to the city, you know what I mean? Because they're taking their shit, like, you know, across the country, and you know, God willing, soon across the world or whatever. So But yeah, here, like, it was really for me that my introduction to it was Cousin Stiz for sure, and like listening to Suffolk County, coming in as a freshman and like trying to just like navigate Boston myself, like in a spiritual way, but also like mentally. That album helped me a lot because it just it fueled me in terms of like wanting to rap. I'd say like just coming into college, but I also got put on to like such a great artist and someone that I feel like is like super genuine in like what he's talking about, and like the music he makes. And then he just keeps coming out with like hits, you know what I mean? You like you got the tape Monda, cause like I'm a big album guy too, so like I love like full projects and shit. So like yeah, you got like Monda, which was great. And then like One Night Only, which is another great album. And then, you know, he's putting out he's been just putting out like singles and shit too, which is it's dope. Cause then being in Boston too, like and seeing different Boston artists and like how they work and in certain ways you can kind of then be inspired by that and try and not necessarily like copy or anything, but just like emulate, you know, how they're kind of trying to set up their groundwork.
I mean, there's emulation all over in the game, exactly. So it's gonna happen no matter what.
Yeah. But yeah, man, shout out to Boston, man. Like for as many things that like I feel like the city kind of sucks for, it definitely has been like a good home. You know what I mean? It's definitely opened me up personally to I wouldn't say like life moving forward, but just like to what I want to do with life. So I guess life moving forward. But yeah, there's just so much talent, and I feel like the talent there is really slept on. I mean, you have like so many schools also, so you have like just a greater crop of like talent and musicians and people that are coming from all different backgrounds, and that then you know, are kind of convening in this one small city. And a lot of times you have the chance to interact with musicians from like so many different schools, which I've been fortunate enough to, you know, to have done. Friends from Berkeley, Northeastern, like Suffolk, you know, it's just, especially like producers too. Like I found like so many.
The production out there must be insane.
It is, and it's so like I found so many great producers in Boston, or like people that aren't even from Boston, but that I've met there. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely been a nice hub of creativity.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely ready to at some point move on. Yeah.
Well, you formed a pretty special relationship with Elliot. Yeah. Who's producing your whole album.
Yes.
Do you want to go like into the album and your recording process?
Sure.
And how that's going?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So this album is.
Show off the merch too.
Yeah. I mean, this is so. I'm gonna get into this too. So, the album, HTS is. It's been such a process, man. Like it's been so. Like almost a year or so, and like you know, you have so many artists. I feel like that you know will be working on a project for like years. You know, you'll have like certain artists that you know you won't hear from for like 2 years, 3 years, some like 5 years.
Frank Ocean.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like you
let
just
Frank
like,
Ocean have his business. Okay?
Right.
Album delayed for a year.
Right, just like, and it's like crazy because like you know you're waiting, and with Frank it got to be like you're waiting in anticipation for like so long, and it was like so exciting, but then you also were like, damn, like yo, where the fuck is this guy? Like
kind of forget about him for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And I'm definitely like not at that point where like no one's like waiting on my shit, but I'm waiting on it. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting on it.
Number one fan over here.
Yeah, bro. It's like so. It's been. If I like, it's hard to encompass because it's just there's been so much time that Elliot and I have spent becoming better friends, and that have then gone into our relationship and forming like this album that we're creating together, and so the album it's basically just like, I feel like it's a look at different things I've gone through within like a year span, or like within the time that I was kind of living in Boston for the first, like on my own for the first time, to like honestly until I finish the album, which I'm trying to do in like the next couple of weeks before I leave for LA.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just like, it's really like something that's like an everyday process of like feelings, of emotion. It's, you know, the production on it, like what Elliot has been doing is just, he's completely it's completely gonna encompass the listener, and in sound and in layers of sound. His production has just been like OD.
It's not going to be an album, it's going to be an experience, is what you're trying to say?
I think so. I really, you know, just for all of the work that we've put into it, and all, like, so much credit to him, like, for the sonic quality. I think we've just come such a long way. You know what I mean? Like, it's just from like when we first, so how, I guess like for like a skeleton of what I wanted the album, like, or what I saw, right? So like at first I really saw this as being, and I think it will still hold true when you hear it, but I'm like so big into like concepts, and I've always been a fan of like albums that have some sort of narrative, or like something that you can take from it that maybe can become a narrative within itself.
Like Good Kid.
Yeah, like Good Kid, Mad City, like To Pimp a Butterfly.
You
like,
always go to Kendrick Lamar. Right?
Yeah, always.
I mean, I'm a huge fan.
I know. I'm just something I've peeped.
There's just like Good Kid, Kid Cut, like you know, all the like Man on the Moon 1, Man on the Moon 2.
The Internet.
The Internet, like Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying. God, there's so many, like some like the Beatles ones, like the, you know, fucking just like I'm such a fan of albums that are a piece, like a whole piece.
I can tell by the hand gestures.
Yeah. That are just like a whole piece, right? So when I first had thought of this, as I said, like I was kind of living on my own for the first time, and just going through a lot of ways of like not only like self-medication, but just of how to cope with things, and like how to cope with, like, you know, just the fucking regular ass shit,
Just
like
dealing
getting
with
older,
life.
dealing with
trying
life.
to grow up,
exactly,
dealing with life and getting older.
Yeah,
they don't tell you about that.
Or they try.
Yeah,
but you don't really know. You don't really
know. You
know.
can never know, right? You can just never know until it smacks you right in the fucking face. So I wanted this to be almost like a conversation between me and someone who you'd hear throughout the album, that is asking me certain questions of like how have you been, what's been going on with like so and so, like how are you dealing with this certain situation, almost acting as like a therapist in a way. And so you would have different sound bites or different qualities of the album that would act as such, and each song would then be a response to that either question or what someone is telling me that you'd hear throughout the album. And when I think of that now, it sounds kind of like I don't know if convoluted is the right word, but it sounds a bit like stuffy, I think, because like I don't know, like I love, and Elliot really like opened my mind to this, like concept albums are amazing, and they really can bring the listener to another place, but then you also want to take into account like what you want the replay value of a certain product to be. And unless you have classics like what Kendrick Lamar has done, or like other artists have done in their lifetime, you don't want to have something that's so heavy with things that aren't just like the music itself that you'll have listeners then skipping over. So I think
that's what happened with Logic's last album.
Exactly.
Like, not
with
Young
everybody,
Sinatra.
right?
Yeah.
And so like I think that if you can have like that type of balance, and this like Elliot really opened me up to then like how sonically how he wanted to move forward with this, and what he thought would be just a very clear cut streamline of consciousness and thought sonically from him and lyrically from myself as well. And we're still, I think, gonna put in a couple of things here and there that are just like, whether they're sound bites or you hearing someone give advice or something, like you'll still hear that type of narrative, but I don't think it'll be as heavy as like after every song you're hearing someone like talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want the listener to just, at some point, you want that person to listen to it while they're showering or listen to it while they're cooking or like while they're taking a drive, and for them to still be sonically
invested,
wrapped up and invested into the album. So I think with where we are now from like months and months and months ago, that type of sonic progression is there, and like each song sounds like a full body of work, and there aren't many skeletons. Like I know, like with myself, when I hear like a lot of records or a lot of like beats that or production that's in the works, I love like skeletons. I love things that aren't fully formed yet, but maybe you have like a loop or like a synth part or something that's like simple, and I don't know, I find that I can really
just go to town on
or just like get lost in something like that. So how again, like how things seem HTS is really, it's what it is, just like how things have seemed, how things have kind of been for me in my realm of reality, and something, I think maybe not a theme of the album, but like something that I wanted to talk about throughout the album is my reality, and like what how my reality has changed from like certain situations, how a lot of times like I feel like I've kind of been able to like restart in like consciousness, and like starting from like a not necessarily like a rebirth or anything like that, because I'm still in like a growing process, but just a part of my life where like I can, like the slate's kind of wiped clean, and I'm like, I now start from this point and I'm now onward until the next point presents itself. So yeah, that's like all of it, like in a nutshell, basically.
Has this been like, because I mean you've been working on this for like Day in Spring came out a couple of years ago.
It came out like the first, like that first summer that I was kind of on my own in a way, but yeah, it came out in 2017. So let's start like July 7th, 2017.
So has this been like always the direction you've had with your album, or you've had kind of like roadblocks, or like you wanted to go
so many roadblocks?
Yeah,
So many. Like I said, like this album in itself, I think lyrically has been it's been like, to be honest, it's been a somewhat grueling process of just like really trying to hold myself to another standard of lyricism, of being able to speak my truth, but then also being able to have like anyone that's listening relate to that type, relate to that truth. And so in my writing, I've really tried to make a point of what I'm saying to not be so specific to me that no one else can relate to it. And because it's such an introspective body of work, that was like, there's certain times where like I'd write verses, or I'd have songs that and songs that would have been like from the course of this year and some change, that have been great songs, but they haven't been HTS quality bodies of work. And Elliot is as the producer in this has really been someone to kind of initiate those hard choices. And when you get so married to a song, or like to an idea, and then you have to kind of be like, nah, like in the time that we will have something that's better than this. You just have to trust that. You know what I mean? You just have to really and that's come with like lyrics too, like the amount of times that, you know, I've had certain lyrics that I thought were gonna be how things seem ready. Even the song, this is a great example here. Even the song that I remember that you sent me, that I wrote a song to. It was like that, just like a skeleton of work, right? Like that one piece, and at a certain point, you know, because that was like, I mean, talk about like coming a long ways. That was like a long time ago.
Over a year ago.
Yeah, it was over a year. Exactly, that was over a year ago, right? And so from that time, I was so set on that, like one particular song, like being on How Things Seem, right? Like being a pillar, or like a real important part of the album, because I was speaking about something that that I felt was almost like a type of mindset, or just like a phase that I was going through. And it was, you know, when it got down to it, we had to like make the decision and the choice that like we're going to have something not necessarily better than that song, but something that will just, like I said, encompass and be matched with everything else. Like every other song that's on it would be like a clog in this bigger machine, and you know what I mean. So like, but that was a hard decision. Like that, like for me, when I wrote that song, I was really pouring myself into it, and I was really married to the song and married to the fact of it being on the album. But to Elliot's credit, and him being you know, also a great producer, he wanted to take on the album himself, right? And so like how it would, you know what I mean, like if we were to be at that same point here today, and for me to have gone through How Things Seem, but then like, you know, we've like the two of us have been in the studio every day working, and then we have one song that's like not produced by him, that's not by him.
It would feel like,
it would just feel, you know, it sonically would be just a different
you would put
song.
more work into trying to get it to work in your whole flow of an album.
Right, or like, exactly, and it would just be like a different sonic piece of the song that then he also would have no control over. And he's the type of artist as well where like he likes the control of what you're hearing, and like, you know what I mean, and like he you know, it takes pride in his work, and just in like in you know, the things that he produces himself. And so so credit to him. But like,
so singles,
definitely a single.
So definitely like singles are coming. It's like, damn,
got people waiting out here.
yeah, right. So
where's my music?
Yeah, so I mean, singles are coming like in their time. Like, I think a lot, honestly, what Logic said is something that I really took from him, is that to put out a single when your whole album isn't finished is like making a trailer for a movie that you have yet to shoot. Right.
And those usually don't come out too good.
Right. And
but you can put out singles for like unrelated things.
That's very true. And I think
I feel like that would put you off your pacing a little bit.
I think so. I don't want to, when we're ready to have a single, I want it to be, I think we both want it to be like of a great sonic quality, right? So something that we've been both putting equal time into, from a writing standpoint, from a production standpoint, and I don't know, just like something that is an attachment of that body of work,
right?
Something that then, you know, I can, or like we can, you know, flash the HTS letters, you know, on like the single, or like the video that may come with it, and you'll know that like, you know, this is going to be a bigger part of, drink your water, man. This is gonna be like a bigger part of something, you know, something great. So I'm honestly, I'm in no rush to put out a single. Like, you
can't rush art.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, there's like, you know, there's still a lot of things that need to be done production wise, and this is kind of the only place where my head's at. I think naturally, and we've like our group has talked about this a lot too. As the cadets, I think we're also in a natural cycle of we're gonna put out music, and like I think once our Elliot and I's album is put out, I think then we'll be able to get into a phase of putting out our group stuff, and I think from there, like that's when you'll also have more singles. I think with how things seem, we might put out like 2 or maybe even 1, depending on what we want to do or what he wants to do. So I don't know. I'm not in a rush. Like I just
You're an independent artist. You're not like answering to a label. You have your own time.
It's just like, especially putting out putting out a single when I have yet to write some songs. I just want I'm in such an anticipation right now of getting to that point where I could write that just like final word. And I can just like take a fucking breath, look at everything that I've written, and put the stamp on it, and just be like, bet, let me just finish this, record it. I'll be going to LA and trying to I can just like relax on that and like leave it in the hands of E to then sonically match his side of it to then my side of it lyrically, because we'll be away from each other for that semester. So
I heard that while you were getting ready for the Ali show, you're doing a bunch of warm-up exercises. And that's how they knew that you were legit.
Yeah.
And Elliot also mentioned that you had some pretty interesting
I bet he
warm-up.
did.
You want to demonstrate for us?
Oh, I definitely would love to. So can I stand up and everything?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Just check the mic.
Well,
Or try to come a little bit back.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure. So like, so a lot of these acting or exercises, I would say.
Try to bring the mic towards you.
Bring it toward me. Okay. I've learned from hey guys, I've learned from being an acting major at Emerson, and a lot of it is just getting into your body, opening up the space, allowing your inner self to become one with your own environment, and just like getting out of like massaging your jaw. Oh yeah, I just need to hold up 1 second.
Oh, that's better.
Okay, word. So a lot of what I love to do is stretching. I love to just like, here you go, fellas. You just
really just stretch them.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I was just all day.
Really get that stretch in.
And so like a lot of things that we do in our acting is like we just like here. Sorry. I just wanna.
This is perfect, right?
Bro, this feels so good.
This is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like. Hold up. I'm
I heard
kind
that
of
crack.
nervous. Oh god. Ooh.
Let me ask, what does patting your side
what's
do?
the padding for?
It lets your body know that you're you're alive. You know what I mean? It wakes the body up. Your body has like so many like senses and just like muscles, and obviously so like when I'm about to like record or when I'm about to perform, I want my body to be warmed up. It's just like in a game, you know what
Right.
I mean?
You
can't
like,
go in cold, right? So
yeah.
like, I just love to stretch and just like wake my body up. And then like stretch out your neck.
I can definitely understand the neck, because when it gets tense, you're like, you start feeling that stiffness.
Yeah. And all these things that I've literally been blessed with to learn from, the acting training that I've been getting just at school.
I mean, I bet that would work, because like you said, athletes, they do it all the time. Like you'll hit your body, like if you're about to work out, you like do a little chest pat, like that.
That's just probably the one that they're talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the jaw.
Just going like, because I feel like
You got to be loose.
you have to be loose, and like I took a class called Voice and Text. Shout out to Melissa Healy. How you doing, Melissa? And so that was a great class because as people from like children to our age now, we're so conditioned to close up our natural voice, to not allow ourselves to not really like in a way like speaking our truths, but allowing just what I'm saying now, like just our mantras, our inner self to just like come out freely and without the constraints of the outside world or
fearing what people think
or
say.
and just like so that helps in like acting, because you're freeing yourself and freeing up like the voice that you need to then connect with the character, or for me that I need to when I need to connect to like my audience or like a song or anything. So a lot of times also like you just want to like, oh god, this is gonna feel so good. Just want to like roll down your spine.
Oh, roll the back. Yeah.
Maybe we should do this before each episode.
No, I'm taking mental notes, man. I take acting class.
I'm telling you, like, and this is all like within our warm up too. It can get weirder. I'm not gonna like. Not gonna show all
It can get weird, guys.
Oh yeah.
It already is weird.
Like,
Yeah. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, Tay.
And he rebirthed it.
Yeah,
He's a new person.
He's a new man.
I feel like it's
Nah, I am taking mental notes though, cause he's not like faking it. Like when you do that type of stuff, it opens up your. Cause the fact that you can do all that like in front of a camera and all that, like you're gonna be ready to perform.
Yo,
you know?
I would not be paying $50,000+ in my senior year of college and not believe in the shit that I do.
Every penny count. Yeah.
Exactly, and not believe in the.
Oh
shit
yeah,
that,
if you're paying for all that and you're like cynical as shit about it, what is the point?
And that is something like I was like when I first got to
like, man, what is this?
Exactly, when I first got to Emerson and being an acting major and not ever being at a performing arts school, I had no introduction to like what acting is when you strip down everything that people like think it is. Like my acting, like what people may think acting classes are, is like it is in a way. It can be weird, right? Just from like an outside perspective, but it's not when it's just within you, or like when you really are like an actor, which I feel like I am. You know what I mean? I feel like I always have been, and it's something that I the techniques that we learn, and like the whether it's movement techniques or like Linklater or Chekhov or Alexander, it's the Alexander technique. It's all things that generations of actors, film and stage have done and that have allowed for the work to work on them. So who am I to then question that, or like who am not even like to question it, but who am I to be cynical about it? And I was when I first got to Emerson, because we were we'd be like on the ground and like stretching and doing the stretches that I did, and in my mind I was like, yo, what are we doing? What the hell is this?
I'm paying all this money just to stretch.
Well, not that, and like and just like I was still closed off from myself, and I was still worrying or caring about like what my friends would think. Like even when I was in high school and I'd do musical theater, there was that sense of like, oh, like whether thinking like, oh, this is like gay, or like, oh, this is like this is stupid, like what I mean, like those things don't matter. They, and as someone who has stripped all of the, or not necessarily like fully stripped, but someone that's continuously working to always strip away anyone else's perception of things except for my own. I feel like I kind of lost what I was trying to say.
No, but, we got the feel.
Right, and so like it also came to a point where when I was my freshman year, I was still playing soccer at Emerson, but I was also an acting major, right? And those two things like don't mesh. Like the acting school at Emerson is, and the MT school and like musical and like those programs are like rigorous. You know what I mean? So and like Emerson for itself is not a school known for its sports. It's a communications, journalism, film school,
D3,
acting school. Exactly, D3. We're not all D1, UMD. Fucking big dicks over here, I guess. But, anyways, yeah, your football team sucks though. So,
I mean,
hey, I don't deny it.
Hey, we won the soccer championship.
You don't even have a football team.
Yeah, that's true.
So we would win that one.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Got you there.
Yeah, right. Damn, what was I saying?
Opening
Okay.
up your inner self.
Yeah, opening up my inner self, yada yada yada. One of my acting teachers was just like, there's one day where I said like, oh, I haven't like auditioned for anything yet, and I still haven't done like my crew assignment because well, for every freshman that matriculates or comes into the school, you have to work crew for a show, like doing backstage work, whether it's a costume or lighting or design or any of the many ways that the theater works behind the stage. And I didn't do mine for my fall semester because I was playing soccer, and it was getting to the time where, like, I needed to, I had to either be on this one or I wouldn't be able to audition for anything for the next year. And my acting teacher looked at me and was like, what are you doing at this school? Like, why are you here? And this was in front of my whole class.
Damn,
just like, why
on
are
the
you
spot, yeah.
just on
Yeah.
that? Because my
you always gotta
like,
be vulnerable, right?
Yeah, because like these teachers, like they don't care. Like they don't care about like the outside. Like they're fully aware of like the class and like the techniques, or like that for some people it may seem you may still be holding on to not wanting to completely invest in it. And my teacher didn't play that shit, and she was just like what are you doing at this school? Like, why are you an acting major? Like, why are you studying this craft? And I just sat there. I was like I didn't. And so that kind of question led into that question, as along with my growth as becoming I guess like the actor or artist I am today. It led to then me not playing soccer after my sophomore year, and kind of like just
it was
seeing,
a kick in the pants.
exactly.
I think that was a good move.
It was such a good move, and just like seeing what's like truly important to me, you know what I mean? Because, or like what's truly gonna benefit me after college and like the work that I want to do. And so, yes, like the life of an entertainer, whether it's music or acting or whatever, it has so many struggles in it. But if keeping with your grind and like just trying to take any opportunity you can, you'll find the fruits of your labor in some things, and hopefully in many things that you do. So I knew that soccer just wasn't gonna be it, and I was like, fuck it. I pretty much got like kicked off of the team just because I was like slacking so heavy.
And you had
but it was,
music on top of that too.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And so like from that, and from like our freshman year, Yaski and I, because we hadn't really been acquainted with Elliot just yet, even though he was at the school the same time we were, but I believe he was a senior, or he might have been either a senior or a junior when we first got to the school. But Yaski was playing soccer too, and we actually got kicked off at the same time. We were both called into the office, right? Because we were basically at that point had been two peas in a pod. We were performing together, we were making music together, we were getting some of like this like sort of same opportunities through college, like whether it was like student modeling or like for like different magazines or playing shows and stuff. Like our minds weren't always in soccer as much as we loved it, right? And so from like our freshman year, we had done, I think our first house show was like the end of the semester, our freshman year, at this house called Extra Cosmic. And it was a pretty crazy house. You have like, you go into the basement, it would be like the walls would be just like covered with like crazy ass drawings, and like it was just so fun. God damn. It was like it was just like such a fun like party house or whatever. But we saw a house show there, I think our first semester freshman year, and I remember saying to like Tyler, I remember us like talking about it, just like, yo, we're gonna perform at this fucking house one day. And lo and behold, we did our like second semester freshman year. And so like from then, we had continued to do house shows, and it was that freshman year as well that we opened up for Wiki, who's a part of Rat King and affiliated with Dark World and all that.
Robbie was just showing me a bunch of his stuff.
Oh, word? Yeah. And he's dope. He's a New York-based rapper, and we opened up for him like at the Middle East. And like you were saying, like how did that Sonya gig come about? Like with you get it, bro.
What?
I thought your hand was like twitching. I was like, oh,
no, I was
shit.
just looking at my hand.
Oh, what?
Yeah, a little mini seizure.
Yeah.
Too much
It was like, yeah. So we'd already, I feel like, been on the track of just like, all right, we both are heavily into music and our crafts. Is soccer like really what we kind of keep putting putting our time into? So yeah. So again, but to answer that question you had said at the beginning, that that groundwork was laid literally from like freshman year until like, from like every either group gig, whether it's me and Tyler, whether it's like the whole group, once like Keo and Rico met Tyler, and then that first summer when I was living on my own, I keep going back to it, I would always go to Elliot's house, and then we became closer, and then that's when Elliot met like Keo and Rico, because then they would always like be coming up for shows and shit. So like whether it was our group dynamic that laid the groundwork, whether it was like Tyler and I that laid the groundwork doing like house shows and like that wiki set where it was like the two of us opening up for him, or just like individually throughout our group, we've just all been like putting that foundation down.
Going back to your school, I heard that you had like this cool project on surrealism.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that really like made an impact or something like that.
Who told you that?
Who knows, man? I just listen to the wind and they tell me little things.
The wind is just out of your ear, tuned in. Damn. So that my project on surrealism, it was good. I feel like I definitely could have done a lot better. I had two artists. I had Andre Breton and Guillermo Gomez Pena. Two completely different artists, but both in a realm that's surrealist, I feel like, or that's political. And I think,
can you explain that a little bit for people who don't know what surrealism is, including me?
The non-woke people.
So surrealism. Damn. Okay, so surrealism is basically like the art. In a nutshell, it's like the art of dreams, like the art of your subconscious, or the art of not necessarily like an alternative reality, but just like the reality that you can make up or have, within your mind, or like I guess your mindset. So Andre Breton, he had come from like, he came from like the Dada movement, which was a huge movement in Europe that was basically like art is nothing, like art is whatever you want it to be, and like art is like shit. They like
art is your truth.
Yeah, well, not even art is your truth, but that like art is literally like nothing. Like there's art is, a Dadaist
It can be anything.
It can literally be anything, and anything is awful, or like anything is shitty, or like anything with art should be disposable. So it's really like a shot at the kind of like bourgeoisie.
You shouldn't have like an attachment to your art, basically.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. You shouldn't be attached to it. It's all like something that you just do. You're here for 1 minute, kind of gone the next. Don't hold the material, I guess, aspect of art, because I feel like what the Dada was kind of questioning was the high art of Europe of like the time of like the early, or like probably early 19th century. Or
have you seen that that Banksy thing where he like sold it?
Yeah,
and then it immediately shredded itself.
Yeah,
so that's seems
so,
kind of like
it's almost something. It's almost like something exactly like that. And so Andre Breton, he had come from that movement, then into the surrealist movement, where he was very curious on like your dreams, on the things that were happening in your subconscious. So what I was asking you about, and I with your drawings, right? This, and I feel like you all should try this. Is so what automatism is it's something that Andre Breton had come up with along with surrealism, that you are speaking, or you are putting forth the images from your subconscious onto canvas, or into poetry and writing. So he started off with more writing, and then you get to like Salvador Dali and Magritte, I think that's his name, or how do you pronounce it? And that's when you get into the more visual aspect of surrealism. With Breton, it was a lot of like in your writing, in the in like kind of what your dreams or like your subconscious is telling you. So what he would do is that he would put himself to almost near sleep, like exhaustion, and then it was almost at the point that he would pass out or fall asleep that he would then write the first thing that came to his head. And these thoughts would have no type of like, they would not really have a linear connection, but when you put them all together, they would make sense in a certain way that what they believe that spoke to your subconscious, that spoke to like to what is kind of like what your dreams are made of, what is my fiddle thing, what is like kind of going on, what's going on, like what's going on in your mind. And so I've always taken on surrealism, and my girlfriend loves surrealism as well. The art of like, it's almost the art of reading or seeing something that is, you can't really like define in reality, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes it still tells you something that can be applied to the world in which we live in, but it's the art or the pictures or writing of another realm, right?
So not to get scientific with it,
sure,
but it seems like you said he like put himself to a point of exhaustion, to the point where like he was literally about to pass out. He would just keep himself awake until like.
Yeah, and that was more into like, that was more when he was starting to coin like psychicmatism or psychomatism.
Yeah, because I know
like
when you get to points of exhaustion, like if you stay awake for 3 days, you'll start to like hallucinate.
Exactly.
So
right.
like, was he trying to get to like, or accidentally kind of got to that point?
I don't. So, and this is all from like a semester. Class. No, but I mean, I still feel confident enough to like. I don't think for him it was a point of like getting to 3 days of no sleep, but it was to a point where like, just when like, I guess on a regular day, or like not necessarily a regular day, but just like getting to a point where you feel as though you're about to fall asleep or you're at your most tired, so that you're like the dreams that are in your subconscious can start to trickle out of that realm, and you can then describe things or like paint things that you're almost seeing. And what surrealism then kind of goes further into within like Salvador Dali is that what he would do, which kind of is from automatism, is that he would put himself into like almost cycles of like manic thought and behavior, and then paint what came from that.
That's why that shit's so crazy.
Yeah.
Right, and if you look at Salvador Dali's stuff, and it's so many things that are of a different realm, but that you can still make sense of. And why? Because like we all, I feel like, have that part of our brains and of our mind that can travel to that place that he was at. And so okay, so like my project, getting back to that question, my project on like surrealism, and I feel like Guillermo Gomez Pena was like surrealism, but he was also political art. Basically what I did was, so Andre Breton came up with like a surrealist manifesto that was basically like guidelines or like things that excuse me,
Get that
drink
water.
water.
Hydrate.
Stay hydrated.
It was basically things that were like a guide to surrealism. So that surrealist aspect or like kind of dreamlike aspect then mixed in with Gomez Pena, who he would cross into like so many aspects of art, all very in a way political, because he's a Mexican born artist that then moved to California, but he adheres or like is of so many different cultures that reading about this guy, it's hard to like kind of pin him down because he doesn't pin himself down. So kind of in a nutshell, those two things kind of put together, what I did was that I played a video in my classroom, and Sean, I was talking to you about this in the car. So kind of like a lot of like this class, which is called Living Art in Real Space, was about transforming your space into an installation or into something that like wasn't of the space itself, just like kind of transforming the classroom. So what I did, and again, I feel like I could have done much better, but I was like fucking tired of shit, dude. Like I was sick. It was just like the end of the semester. Yeah, senioritis mixed in there
everybody.
too. Yeah, so like, what I did was I played a video, an old like Looney Tunes video depicting people in like Africa. Cause Looney Tunes, honestly, Warner Brothers, all of them, they're racist as fuck.
Yeah.
And so like, it's like you go like all it goes. It goes
Disney.
No, but I mean it goes through.
Looney Tunes is bad.
It's true, yeah, and it goes through like whether it's depiction of like Native Americans, Jews, blacks.
Oh,
yeah, they kind of cross a lot of shit. So like with Looney Tunes, they had an old cartoon that depicted big lips, nosed rings, big headed.
I know which one you're talking about.
Like Africans dancing around drums and like acting like tribal, and I put that on. I displayed that from a projector, and I stood in front of it as my classmates kind of walked in, and then on a board. Oh, so damn, I left out a huge part. So before I was allowed to have the space what am I trying to say? Before I was allowed to set up what I wanted to do, I had everyone write down on a sticky note any type of stereotype that they had either heard of or believed at one point in their life about black folks or about people of color. And I told people specifically, in my school, it's like it's diverse, but it's not diverse in a lot of ways that I personally, as
is diverse on the surface.
On the surface, it has a lot of parts of it that are still like diverse in terms of like gender and sexual orientation, which are all so like very important.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna be right back. I need to go to the bathroom so bad.
Well,
oh my god.
Jeez.
Might as well finish your story because after this we'll have to get going.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
finish your story.
Alright, so
oh my god.
should I finish it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, bet. So
just duck under the camera. Oh, okay, never mind.
So, fucking, what was I saying? Okay, so, damn, what was I saying? I forgot.
You were talking about the diversity at your school. It's like it has gender.
Okay, yeah. So the diversity of it, I think, still has a long ways to go in terms of race and in terms of its representation of people of color through all areas of the school, like in all of its studies, not just like the performing arts programs, but like journalism and publishing, writing, film. The type of who's working like behind the camera is just as important as the actors in front of it, or like the people that are in front of it. So because of that, I'd always, even from like the first installation that I did, which I won't really go into, but I'd always wanted to challenge that aspect of my classmates.
Make them feel a little uncomfortable. Right?
Uncomfortable, and just like have them think about our bubble and what I mean. Just
you got to get uncomfortable before you can pop that bubble.
Facts. And so, and so I had in my class is made up of people that I identify with the LGBTQ, but also people who are white, and I think it was me and two other people of color, right?
Yeah,
so a lot of times you'll get those important questions on feminism, on gender, on gender roles, but on the questions of like race and on stereotypes, you won't always see that from the art movements or like from like what people are then inspired to do based on whatever art movement is assigned. So I just wanted for my classmates to be honest, and I wanted for them to, in a way, be uncomfortable, and I told them like just write down, like really write, like think about it. Everyone, whether it's like a joke or whether it's like, hey Sean,
welcome back.
So much better.
Welcome back to Trip Trap Talk. We got guest Sean Richardson here. Just graduated from college, moved into his new place. Sean, how does it feel to be
get back to your story?
Yeah.
How's it feel to
be relieved from the bathroom?
Dude, oh my god. I was trying to wait till the end of the episode, but I was just like,
It's
we'll make that a bonus part of the episode.
Someone's trip to the bathroom.
Yeah, so I really wanted for my classmates, as I've said now 3 times, to just be like uncomfortable. And we've all, even at this table, like Sean and I, we went to school together for 9 years, right? In our time, or 9, 10, whatever. In our time, I'm sure that we both have laughed at jokes that are either stereotypical, even to black folks, but to to other races.
Yeah.
Even though we're at this point in our lives now, we're all like-minded, or like not like-minded, but we're all like aware individuals. In our past, those are things that we can't.
Yeah, everyone's like
right,
that,
and so and none of us are so self-righteous I feel like, not really to deny that, but to not talk about it if it has indeed happened. So I wanted my classmates to write down anything that they'd heard, that they believed one time themselves, that their parents had told them, or that their friends had said, and they wrote that down. I had them put it all into a trash can. I had them leave the classroom. I put up the cartoon of the Looney Tunes, and that was kind of my part of like Guillermo Gomez Pena and like his political sort of like his political sense of, and also like cultural identity. But then with Breton and his surrealist manifesto, I then wrote on a whiteboard as my classmates came back into the classroom and they had their sticky slips. I then wrote down everything that they said, and created a young black person, or like a young black man's manifesto. And from things that they were saying, ranges of stereotypes or just things that they'd heard, I just wrote these things on the whiteboard, and in front of this racist ass Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
Simple enough. I feel like I could have just done way better. But
it still got the point across.
I did. I think I did in one way or another.
Because you put on display everyone in the room. Was it anonymous? Like, did you put names or just like anonymous?
I mean, it was anonymous. So
Okay.
like, I obviously saw everyone that took a sticky note, but I didn't have any of them write their names down.
So yeah, you still got like the message across and showed like back to the person who wrote it, like anonymously, like this is what you think, as that racist depiction was like
Right,
playing.
it was in the background.
It gets the mind uncomfortable and starts to think, maybe I shouldn't think that way.
Right, and and it's funny because like my first installation was like that almost in a way itself, where I wanted my classmates to feel very uncomfortable, and I think that one got my point across, my point and my partner's point across, because I think we were like the first ones to do group presentations in the class. And it was intense. It was like a very intense, that particular class at the start of the semester was very intense because it was just like a lot.
People gotta be uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I can talk about it if we have time, but I don't know if we have time.
We don't have time.
It's all good.
But we're gonna talk about it after because it's an interesting story.
Yeah, it is for sure.
But yeah, shout outs, names, recognition.
Wait.
Hold
on.
You have a question? What do you want?
Got a gift for him.
If y'all have any
gosh.
questions, you're like,
no,
yeah,
shut up.
Yes.
All right, Malachi. Got you something special.
Why?
Why?
For entertainment and because I love you, my bro.
Thanks, dude. I will
Christmas.
try not to lose this because I lost. Oh my god, this is incredible. Is this Kid Cudi?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Bro, like I saw this shit. I saw this shit and I like immediately thought of you.
quick.
Like Space Cadets.
There we go.
Cudi.
This is a picture
Nice
made by Maha Satva.
Wow,
This guy on
wow.
Instagram.
Say it again.
Shout out.
Maha Satva.
This is incredible.
Dude,
What
isn't that thing
does,
sick?
Yeah. What does Kid Cudi mean to you as an artist?
Oh wow. I mean, Kid Cudi, okay, so not to just get into something so long again, but like,
A couple minutes.
alright, I'll try and keep
You
it
got
short.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, so for me personally, obviously hearing Day and Night, that was the first introduction to Kid Cudi. I think not just for myself, but maybe for a lot of people. Maybe I don't know if it was for you, but I feel like we were at school in the same time, and that song when it popped off, and
Yeah.
and it was
huge.
It was a huge song. And that was off of Man on the Moon 1, which is one of my favorite albums.
I think it was even before that.
No, it was on Man on the Moon.
No, but he released it on that short little EP.
It was on A Kid Named Cudi.
Yeah, A Kid Named Cudi. But then
mixtape.
I think it was also on Man on the Moon, wasn't it?
Yeah, he put on Man on the Moon.
Oh, that's dope. So, yeah, I heard the single but didn't listen to it. But I saved it on my fucking iPod at that time, and
iPods. Throwback.
And I guess I came back around to Kid Cudi. My shout out to Keo and Rico because they're heavy with Kid Cudi. Keo and like, both of them especially. But there was a phase where like Cudi put out the Indicud album, and there's a couple songs off that, like one called Immortal that I remember we listened to so much like one summer or like one like break or whatever. And they were so heavily into him, but I still I wasn't hip to it. I was kind of like sleeping a little bit, but I knew who he was based off of a couple songs, based off of Day and Night, which at that point I probably like memorized the whole song too. And then when I got to college, my roommate, shout out to Max DeLuca, Big Max, he was big on Kid Cudi too, and he loved Man on the Moon. He loved Man on the Moon too. He was hyped on all of the albums previous to, I think, The Speeding Bullet and then Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, because I think from when we met, those are the two albums that hadn't been released yet, that are now obviously released. And so he was big on him too. So then it all just kind of like, for me, it just got to a point where all of my friends had really dived into this man's like artistry and like what he was talking about. And for the point that I was at in my life, whatever I was dealing with at that time, Cudi spoke to me through his music. And something that I think I've taken from that experience is that I want to do the same, is like speaking to whoever listens to my music, having it be specific to like what I'm going through, but not so specific that someone can't relate to that and find solace or find comfort in what they're going through. So I mean, Man on the Moon 1, like, just it was just like so good, and like so many great I mean, oh my god, like Pursuit of Happiness is on that too. God, what else?
The song Man on the Moon. I love
the song Man on the Moon, My World, or that song just speaks to me too. He's just like he even from that interview he was talking about, like, all your cars, your jewelry, all that shit that rappers talk about, like, this shit's obsolete now. Talk about like your feeling, talk about what you're going through, talk about like like whatever.
He's not lying.
He's not, and like, and he completely did that. He brought that into music, and he also is like he's not afraid to like cross genres. A lot of people give him slack for that Speeding Bullet album. Again, I guess discredit to me. I haven't fully listened to it.
I haven't listened
to
it.
But the fact that he did rock and roll on that album, and I love rock and roll. Like, the fact that he wasn't afraid to change his genre and just do that because it creatively like spoke to him. I admire that so much, because who are we as like rappers? I mean, I can only speak for myself. Who am I as like a rapper, and also as someone that loves so many different genres of music? Who am I to just like limit myself to just doing rap? Like, I can do whatever I want, and my love and my basis has always been like hip hop and rap, but it's also it's also been classical music, rock and roll, blues,
right.
R&B, jazz. It's been so many things, and it won't just be able to, I can't just put it all out, like put all my influences and inspirations through rap. I'll need to do it in other genres of music, kind of bending how I can present my lyrics or present my story or whatever I'm going through to a listener. So Cudi did that. I mean, he spoke about his mental health in an open way, that allowed so many people to to deal with what they're going through. I can remember countless times listening to Man on the Moon, listening to Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, listening to Man on the Moon 2 and Indicud, and just, on certain projects, just like crying because whatever I was going through. Also, like Solange, like when Solange like dropped like Cranes in the Sky, when she put that album out, that was right when Trump got elected, and the 3 albums that I was listening to a lot was like that album. I was listening to Pimp a Butterfly and I think one other one, And there's just certain albums that that really, they can like really speak to you and come to you at times where like the outside world is like just in like fuck shit. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And like with Trump being elected,
we've been cursing this whole time.
oh, okay.
Like,
But like with Trump being like when that happened, like those are two albums that just spoke to me and spoke to things that I needed to process, but like through the music. And Cudi, was doing that same thing, just like things with what I'm going through or what other listeners are going through that they can then process and deal with, but like through music. And Kid Cudi just like, he really laid the groundwork for that in his genre, and as many other artists have in other genres, I think. So he's big, and he's big for our whole group. He's big. I think at least I know that he fucks with them a lot. Sorry, Yaski, I call you out a little bit. Like Yaski hasn't really dived into
everyone
Cudi as much.
has their own opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and Yaski's gonna come around, and he's gonna, I'm praying that he'll dive into Kid Cudi because everyone needs to listen to Kid Cudi.
He's one of those people where he's like, he's your favorite artist's favorite artist. A lot of artists out there, like are really inspired by Kid Cudi.
Yeah, and I mean, you go Logic, Travis Scott, Kanye West, like all of these art, like the hums the hums and like the like the all the fucking melodies that Cudi did, and like the sonic and astral qualities of his music, they've bled into other artists and their music and my music as well. And
it's inspiring.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
inspiring.
Sean did a great job picking out this gift.
Hell yeah.
Props to you, Sean.
Sean.
But like, I was looking for posters on that guy's like Instagram, and like I saw that, and like it just immediately reminded me of you, Malachi, with like the spaceman helmet and shit.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Space Cadets,
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off. You're on a roll. I love it. But we do have to still get your freestyle in, and I do have other shit to do today.
Yes.
He's a working boy.
Yeah, that's how the studio stays like lit. Okay.
Shoutouts. Where do people find you? Where do you find your music?
5-second shoutouts. Let's go.
Okay, shout out to my mom, my dad, my siblings.
Too easy. Keep going.
Okay, shout out to the cadets. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend Natalie. I love you. I'm sorry again, but I love you so much.
Love her boy.
Shout out to, I don't know, like fucking friends. Shout out to the Pink Panther. You know who you are if you're gonna watch this. Shout out to, shout out to like, Space Cadets. Oh wait, so you can find the Space Cadets. You can find the Space Cadets SPACECADE7, the number 7 S Space Cadets on Instagram. From there you can find all of our individual Instagrams, but go to the Space Cadets Instagram, go to our website spacecadets.com.
Link in the description.
Link is going to be in the description. Keep listening to our music. So much is to come.
HGS is coming out soon.
HGS is coming out soon. I want to go to the camera and show you the logo, but it's okay. We'll zoom in. HGS is coming out soon. The GLGV2 is in production. It's coming soon.
Good lives, good vibes.
Don't say that just yet. Yeah, so much stuff is coming soon. Thank you, people.
Y'all are sleeping on him. Check out Malachi. Yeah.
Malachi Elijah.
Malachi
Elijah. He's coming up.
A Day in Spring is out. So go check that
Teddy?
out.
All Trip Trappers, have a great new year. Like this. Don't dislike it.
Please don't die on New Year's Eve.
Well, if you didn't like it, you can dislike it.
If you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
give us some constructive criticism.
Yes.
Yeah, we love negative feedback. Too much positive feedback will get our heads dead,
Also, subscribe.
Subscribe. Subscribe!
Smash that fucking like button!
See you guys. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Trip Trap Talk Show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. And you can also check out all our content and our interviews on YouTube, and check out some of our freestyles as well. Follow us on Instagram at Trip Trap Talk Show, where you can find our advertisements and promotions. And you can also check out me and Teddy's beats at k.b.beats, at Hennessy Beats, for all your production needs. Slide into our DMs if you ever want to be on our show, and subscribe. Subscribe!
Okechi just hit his head. Yeah. On every surface, I am replenished. I am rejoicing. It's never the limit. I have resurfaced, I am replenished, I am rejoicing is never the limit. I have resurfaced, I am replenished, I am rejoicing is never the limit. I have resurfaced, I am replenished, yeah, never the limit. The sky, the highs, the lows of how life goes from dirt we rose, it's with our own. We toe to toe, our minds behind the strife we find. I got long days, longer nights, ain't sleeping good, it's only right. My stress is up, but working hard, I know it's been a minute. I got long days, longer nights, ain't sleeping good, it's only right. My stress is up, but working hard, know it's been a minute. I got long days, longer nights, ain't sleeping good, it's only right. Stress is up, but working hard, I know it's been a minute. I got long days, longer nights, yeah. Yo, get me dead past. I never really dealt with that. Staring at old photos in her kitchen, looking at time that passed. The timeless past, cloudy future, present days in between. Took for granted what family means. I was rapping about it, but truly neglecting simple things. My mind's been cold and dark. I've been waiting on my day in spring. Only love I want is yours. I hope that I grew out of flings. Even when I'm saying that, I saw a nice body and was like, shit, I hope they notice me. On average, I'm at 5 hours of sleep. I wish I could take a trip with the bags under my eyes. Show you how far I've been. Of late, obsessing over real problems or bullshit on my phone. Either my mind flows with the lyrics or I'm overthinking the song. And I've been wrong to my benefit because it helped me to write, but I've been right to my detriment because it led me to spite. And in hindsight, I know there's times where I came up short and didn't make up for it. Buried problems deep in the soil, starting to understand that as low as my soul can go, the light will never fade. Try and gravitate towards a glow, letting my hair grow, that's the only thing that's getting twisted. And if you missed it, won't take long for me to come and visit. Yeah. And if you missed it, won't take long for me to come and visit. Had to swallow some saliva. I'ma get back in this shit though. Yeah. See, I'm starting to understand that as low as my soul can go, the light will never fade. I try and gravitate towards the glow. I'm letting my hair grow, that's the only thing that's getting twisted. And if you missed it, won't take long for me to come and visit. I love sharing these vibes, and in these times we need more inspiration. So please just open your mind and you will find divinity. Cadets in my vicinity only. I'm with the homies and we rolling stone. I keep some papers on me, man, there's always good weed in my capsule. Text the group chat when niggas at who try and match, yo. And you'll most likely spot me in the Camry with my family. Swear we A1 in prime, yeah, he got the Bambies. You know where the Barbies at. Rika rolling gas pack, taking trips to Mars, and I don't really think we coming back. Long time since I had curfews. Mom getting used to all the shit I'm doing. What I'm pursuing is far from perfect. Sometimes I feel so far from worth it. The stars I'm searching for purpose. Sometimes I fall asleep nervous, I don't know if I'm worth it. I'm just trying to work it, yeah. I have resurfaced, I am replenished, I am rejoicing. The sky is never the limit. The highs, the lows of how life goes. From dirt we rose is with our own. We toe to toe, our minds behind the strife we find with life, with people, with time. What's mine is mine and yours is mine. But out of our minds we must try to climb the ladder. Success is the product of hard work and blessings. Putting your head down and pray when you're stressing, then moving forward, never let up the pressure. Too many books that's unread on my dresser. Too many roaches, my book sitting next to. I pick out the one just to get me a message. Not flexing but flucting out of my old ways. I hope to discover new beauties in life even through old age. Damn. Cleaning out these cluttered spaces, won't continue complacent. We're escaping, ascending, find my way out the maze. Ahead there's better days, warmer weather, brighter rays. Both of us are scared to be apart, I know we'll find our way. Navigating back to you through every high and low. I know we had the chance to grow, reaching towards our goals, reaping what we've sown. I will never stand in front of you, I wanna see you glow. Let the light pour from your soul. Damn. Let the light pour from your soul. Yeah. Look. I've been feeling different. Either my mind is in hell or reaching to be uplifted. I'm trying to figure out why I lost my head like the keys are missing. Shit. Scattered thoughts across the floor like laundry day. Through the smoke and drink and I'd hide away. My bittersweet escape. How's the music? Ooh, I can't. Yeah. I'm just trying to find my lane. I must maintain. I do the same thing. This shit came from my brain. Shout out Trip Trap, yeah, you know it's all that. I mismatch, I bring them back together like that.